TheAngleSlamPodcast. Hi everyone.
Hello.
Again, we always go for the same kind of tone with
Yeah,
the
I think
without even talking about it.
I think we've kind of got a routine going with it now.
We've got some kind of telekinetic connection here.
Always love.
So, yes, hello again.
And we're back.
Yeah, we, as you might have guessed, we didn't do full gear because...
tired.
Yeah, we've got other stuff.
So much shit going on.
It's not like we didn't want to do it.
It was good though.
Yeah, it's not like we didn't want to do it, but, if you want us to do it, comment and all that, and we'll work it in, but we mainly stick to WWE, or we'll do just AEW every now and then.
Yeah.
I think, I was hoping there'd be no deaths, but there's the one. I'm probably going to get his man's name wrong, so I apologise at the time, but I think his name's Matt Smith. He was
the doctor.
He was one of the founders of Santana and Ortiz, better known as LAX.
Right.
And helped train Private Party. And I think, unfortunately, he died in a bicycle accident in New York, I think. I think he got hit by a car on his bike. So, to the point that in AEW...
Is that person fleeing for diplomatic immunity?
I don't know. But as far as AEW... Private Party and Santana Ortiz had a tag team match and dedicated towards him, so...
Yeah.
Don't know much about him, but we'll dedicate points to him.
But yeah, as usual, on SoundCloud, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Stitcher, Apple Music.
Google, Yellow Pages.
Yeah, literally anywhere you can find us. Also, as well, in 3 weeks, obviously, we'll be doing TLC.
Mm-hmm.
We might, hopefully, be having someone with us do it. There's a girl called Jess, if she's listening. Hi, Jess.
Hi, Jess.
She does like her own wrestling podcast and everything. She's obviously got her own Twitter and Instagram and whatnot. And hopefully she should be with us via a Skype call to review TLC. So fingers crossed we can get that all sorted. And TLC, there'll be 3 of us. So the format will be a little bit different. It may be a little bit longer. But yeah, so fingers crossed we can get that going. I'll put links in the description as well for all of her stuff and whatnot as well, in case you want to check her out as well.
Awesome.
So, right. Survivor Series.
Yes.
2019.
I was pleasantly surprised. Not surprised. I just really enjoyed the show.
Yeah, I was just happy.
It was a very good show.
I can't remember the last time I was on the edge of my seat. And this is predictions regardless.
Yeah,
because we did our predictions. Obviously, we were screaming at the TV and everything. And
yeah,
it was a very close call for myself, but I am still champion. But only just.
I did have to reflect last night on, because we watched this Monday night, we didn't watch it live, we're here on a Tuesday night now, so I've had 24 hours to reflect on it, and I did think, was it just good for us because we're doing the predictions? No, actually, take that all aside, it was a great
generally
show.
did enjoy it. There were some negatives, and we will get into those, but
not many, gladly.
Which it's weird, because that's not exactly been... That's what is actually going on with WWE at the minute. It's more negative than anything. Like, we've been struggling to get above 5 out of 10, and this may be different.
Yeah, as far as all pay-per-views go, it's like they've been struggling.
Yeah.
And Survivor Series, as part of the Big 4, has been struggling. It's like the weak link.
It's definitely the weaker of the ones,
Personally, throwing NXT in that mix of the brand supremacy now makes Survivor Series awesome. Yeah. And this was a great show.
Do it every year. Don't make it a one-off. Yeah. If this is the kind of quality we're getting, do it every year.
So I'll kick off with the pre-show stuff.
Yeah,
we didn't watch.
We didn't watch. We never watched the pre-show, to be honest. But we just find out highlights and results. Really.
Well, it turned out 3 of those points in the pre-show mattered
this time. Didn't matter last year.
Yeah, they had to change it all. But the first was there was a 10-team tag team battle royal,
which Rudolph won.
Rudolph won, so they got the first point for SmackDown.
Yep.
The Cruiserweight Championship match. I just thought it was an NXT Cruiserweight match, but. Because we thought it was against that Angel guy, mixed information, but it turned out it was an inter-brand one, a triple threat.
Yes, it's a triple threat.
So it was Kalisto for SmackDown, Cesaro for Raw, and obviously Leo Rush defended NXT, and Leo's defended it, which we figured he would.
Yep, so point for
NXT. And then which I was a bit annoyed about this, the triple threat tag.
Yeah, so Undisputed Era, Viking Raiders, New Day.
Yeah, I wanted this to be the main show. So I was a little bit surprised when it wasn't, but if you look at the card,
I was going to say that's the only problem. If you look at the actual card itself, what do you swap out?
Yeah, I think I would have been more annoyed if they'd put AJ Shinsuke Roderick on.
Yeah, so it's literally like there is no option really. You've got to put something on. Yeah, so I suppose it just had to be this.
I still haven't watched the match, but it was a match I was interested in watching, so I might go back and see.
I think I'll go back.
But the Viking Raiders won.
Yeah, they picked up the win, which is weird because I honestly thought it would be Undisputed Era for that.
Yeah,
I went for New Day prediction-wise, but if I'm thinking story-wise, in hindsight, I thought it'd be Undisputed Era.
I just thought... I don't know, with the Viking Raiders...
Oh, is that the bike guy?
It's the bike guy, yeah.
Get him out of the way early.
Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. In hindsight, maybe the Viking Raiders didn't make a lot of sense because they have just kind of been there as tag champs and not done much, and this is that kind of made them go, no, we're champs for a reason. But I just thought they might have gone with Undisputed Era to be kind of like show that this is the future of the tag team division in WWE.
Yeah.
But hey ho, it's not a complaint.
Yeah. The only downside I would say is that Kofi just been relegated to the pre-show and just an afterthought now, and it's like it never happened.
Yeah, it's kind of like showing that his championship reign, I wouldn't say a fluke, but almost like it's a lightning in the bottle phase.
Yeah.
Similar to the Jinder Mahal.
They just kind of go, well, it's over now, so we'll just pretend it never happened. They've had their fun, let's pretend it never happened.
Because the WWE Championship, to me, means you're escalated to that main event superstar level.
You don't go back to pre-shows.
No, recently though.
Not that early anyway. You may a couple of years down the line or something like that where things don't work out as well, but to be relegated to the pre-show that soon after having the biggest title in the company, that is not fair.
And in recent years, I mean, that nearly happened to Daniel Bryan. As soon as Mania was over, I think he was on the pre-show the next pay-per-view. It was like, are we really doing this to Daniel Bryan? But as far as the two best examples of who it's happened to, it's Kofi and Jinder. But Jinder was going to be a disaster from the get-go. We all know that.
Yeah, we all knew that.
So, it's a shame, but as far as the pre-show was, it all became one apiece.
Yes,
through three rounds. And then the proper show kicked off with the 5-5-5 women's Survivor Series match.
Yes,
which was very good.
It was very good. We're not going to rattle off all the names. It's 15 people, but the captains were Charlotte for Raw, Sasha for SmackDown, and Rhea Ripley for NXT.
Yeah. I think all women got their time to shine.
Yes, everybody got their moments, their spots, and all that kind of stuff.
They definitely took advantage of it. They didn't like.
Yeah, I like the idea of the. They kind of sold the injuries of Io and Candice LeRae sold the injuries of the previous night, and they got taken away. Although as they're being taken away, you kind of like. I'm pretty confident they're coming back down, aren't they? Because they were carried away, they weren't stretchered away. So.
Yeah, thinking about this, I am 50-50 on whether I actually like this or not, because...
It looked a bit obvious, didn't it?
No, but just that. I mean,
but it was good storytelling. That's why I kind of give it a slide, really.
I like the story, the fact that they took notice that these two have been through hell at War Games, so of course they're going to be battered to the point that they might be taken out here. But nothing really happened to make us think they would take. They just were like out the ring and they just
took something, but the camera didn't catch it.
Yeah,
and I don't even think they got a chance to show it as a replay. But someone did something. But for the life of me, I don't know.
So there's a part of me as a fan that enjoyed the moment of like, oh no, they're hurt, and then coming back out of like the pop, the cheap pop, so to speak. But there's another part of me that's thinking that's exactly what it was. It was kind of a cheap move,
maybe,
for NXT to do, but. In the long run, I think I'm okay with it.
Yeah. It's not the worst thing in the world, it really is.
No, because it kind of just, when it rattled down, because, the eliminations are pretty much quite standard until it all broke down between Charlotte and Asuka.
People like Sarah Logan and Dana Brooke were gone reasonably easily.
Yeah,
Carmella went, which was fine.
The Charlotte Asuka thing, interesting.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, they got getting pissed off with each other, and then she green misted her, and then she got taken out by Lacey Evans, didn't she? With the woman's right.
Yeah, and then Natalia was just kind of standing there like, great.
Yeah, because obviously Asuka after that bailed, because Kairi Sane was gone as well.
Sasha betrayed Natalia, so it'd just be down to her and Rhea, but then that's when the point starts going, Io and Candice are going to come back out.
Yeah.
And they never really explained if they were actually back in the match or just there to help.
Obviously, in hindsight,
it don't matter now.
It don't matter now, but they weren't in the match. They were classed out.
Yeah,
because if that was the case, it's just like, well, they definitely
just slide in and kick the shit out.
Yeah,
but the fact that there was like
they just helped Rhea. That was it.
I think Candice actually did a ref distraction for Io to go in and kick Sasha in the head or whatever she did, and Rhea to pick up the pieces.
Yeah,
but NXT won.
Yeah, which I was really surprised but very very happy with, because in all honesty, I don't think any of us saw NXT getting more than 1 point because of the way Vince thinks. He's thinking, well, Raw and SmackDown.
I thought she'd get more than one.
I genuinely didn't. I thought he'd give them the one because they've had a great show with the War Games and everything, and adding them in is definitely a good thing. But I didn't think you'd give them more than one on the actual card. I was pleasantly surprised with this because Rhea's been on a hell of a run lately, going against Shayna Baszler, and she's been against some other people, really building herself in NXT. The stuff she's been going through for the last few weeks, invading Raw and SmackDown, then going into the War Games match, which was absolutely fucking incredible. Yeah. One of the best War Games we've ever seen. And then to go and do this as well, she's... I'm obsessed with Rhea at the minute. I look at her and go, this girl is the future.
Let me just...
100%.
I need to just double check something on the team here, because it was Rhea, Io, Candice, it was Toni Storm, and was it Kaylee Ray or was it someone else? No, Bianca Belair.
Belair, yeah.
She really impressed. I think she had 2 or 3 eliminations.
Yeah, she did. Who did she eliminate first? She eliminated the first 2 people.
Yeah, she was looking white hot from the start.
Yeah, she was.
But yeah, they just... I think with the women's one, I think the reason I went against NXT was thinking it would make logical sense for one of the reasons they lose was because they'd be battered from their War Games match.
Yeah.
Because their War Games match was that awesome.
Yeah.
But, hey, yeah, again, this isn't a complaint. They went with the shock thing of, like, no, they overcome this, and I think Vince or the powers that be did that as this is the future of the women's division. And it paid off, because the future looks amazing for the women's division if they're going with that.
100%.
But, yeah... It was
great opener. Match. Really good opener.
Yeah, very solid opener. A great way to kick off the show. Next was the, like... I don't want to say mid-card, but you know what I mean. That the other champions triple threat, where it was Roderick Strong, AJ Styles, and Shinsuke.
Yeah. So, and again, I admit the crowd, they got into it, but they weren't 100% behind it at the start, which was annoying because it was a great match.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it. It's like, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't say it was 5-star. But I still really enjoyed the match. Everybody had their tactics and their moments to shine and whatnot. You generally thought at any point, any 3 of these guys could pick this up. AJ had his moments to shine. We think he's going to do it. There was times when Nakamura was going for his Kinshasas and just like, he's going to take this.
Yeah.
And then for Strong to get the sneaky roll-up win, which makes perfect sense for his character. I like the fact that AJ hit Nakamura with a forearm and then just got chucked out by Strong to pick up the pin.
It's something you never would do.
Yeah, it's great storytelling, and I really enjoyed it. And I generally didn't think that Strong was picking this up at all. I thought it was going AJ all the way, if not Nakamura. But Strong was definitely not the one I was choosing.
I think one of the reasons the crowd were a little bit indifferent in the match was I think they just generally didn't know who to support. And because there's
because we like them all.
Yeah, because one side you mind who do I want to support, who's my favourite, and then the other side is like who do I genuinely think is going to win. And it was a hard one to call, like you say. But I think everyone, no offence to Roderick Strong, I think everyone just kind of had it in their heads going, it's going to be AJ or Shinsuke. We said this on the night, that was one of the best matches Shinsuke's had in a while. He just threw caution to the wind.
He did go more Strong style.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I noticed as well, I noticed, but other people have mentioned it as well, which I really liked as well, was the fact that he's the king of Strong style, and the 2 people he was going against was Strong and Styles. I thought that was quite
coincidence.
I liked that.
Well, we all, I don't know if we all said this, but I thought Nakamura might win because he's kind of one of them again that's holding the Intercontinental Championship.
Oh, with the new belt as well.
Yeah, and that's it. With the new belt, it was kind of like, here I am with a fresh new belt, and I should be here to remind you that I'm Intercontinental Champion, which he did despite not winning.
Yeah, even though he took the pin, this was one of the few times I looked at it and go, well, Nakamura hasn't lost out here. It was just a cheeky roll-up. He got hit by the forearm, so fair enough, and it just is what it is. He had a really good show.
Yeah.
He did at least 2 of the kicks off the top rope into Strong and AJ, I think.
Nakamura just was there to prove he can still go.
Yeah.
And he can. AJ, to me, he didn't do anything stand out, unfortunately.
But he was there because he's AJ Styles. He's AJ Styles.
And I think even Sami Zayn's
he got involved in
thing. We're just being there. He's beginning to remind me of when, obviously not the stunt double stuff, but when Mizdow was in Miz's corner, of like, yes,
Damien Mizdow hyping him up so much.
Yeah, well, Damien Mizdow was entertaining himself because of like he was just copying all of Miz's moves and it was hilarious. Sammy is entertaining in his own right of just like when Sammy does something. When Shinsuke does something amazing, Sammy's like so elated. He's like, yeah, and then when something bullshit happens, he's like throwing his hat and having a tantrum. He's being a dickhead, but an amusing dickhead. And I do want to see him wrestle again. I don't know why he's not wrestling recently.
Yeah, it's annoying me that he's not. But hopefully they're building up towards him versus Nakamura at Mania, like you mentioned before. That would be really nice. So, but yeah, good, solid triple threat. Again, another good match. And
Strong came with the victory, which meant at that point NXT went 3-1-1 up.
Yeah,
which I don't think anyone was expecting NXT to climb that quick.
Not a chance. Didn't think it.
Rankings.
But fair enough.
Yeah. Next was the NXT Championship match between Adam Cole and Pete Dunne. And now this was good.
This was really good. I'd argue that it was match of the night. The first two or three minutes, it took a bit of time to get going. Maybe the first 5. And again, the crowd weren't in it at the very, very start. Like, they were a little bit deflated from everything they'd seen previous. But once they started going to their final kind of segments, their final like finale of the match, and their spot fests and their false finishes and all that kind of stuff, the crowd were going absolutely spare for the both of them. And it was just spot after spot after kick out after kick out, and just everything. The Canadian Destroyers, the Panama Sunrises, breaking of the fingers. It was just, everything about it was great. Just I really, really enjoyed at least the second half of this match.
It was a great match, and again, this is not a knock whatsoever, but I think what kind of removed it, I mean, I used to think, okay, WWE Universe, NXT Universe, let's face it, they're all the same fans. There are like a minority or maybe a majority now that do just watch NXT, but all in all, we're the same people. But it didn't feel like a takeover crowd for this match.
Well, it's because it wasn't.
Yeah, so again, despite them probably being all the same fans, it didn't have the same electricity, and I think that kind of rubbed off on the match a little bit. The match was great, but I keep thinking if this had was at Takeover and had more of a story, this was a match that was made within 24 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it was randomly just put together because obviously it was whoever won the triple threat in War Games, which was done, and then he went into it. So, if I'm completely honest, even though there's a couple of times in the match I thought, are they actually going to give this to Dunne? I never truly believed that he would take it, because it makes no sense for the character of Adam Cole with the run that the Undisputed Era are having. Yeah. It makes no sense for him just to be randomly taken away by someone that's had no character build-up for this match or for this storyline.
Yeah.
It makes more sense for someone like Gargano or Ciampa or Finn Balor or someone else like that to take it from him. It makes no sense for Pete Dunne. So
I think for
it was just there to be a good match.
With the position Pete's in on the roster at the minute, I think it makes more sense to develop his character to build up to the championship, not just throw it on him. And also, I think the first bit of Randy hit, it was almost like the fans in the arena and probably everyone watching TV were kind of like, we're not jumping out of seats here because we know this isn't the end. But near the end, when, like say, it began to build momentum and stuff, when he went for it again, but Cole managed to reverse it and then win the match.
Yeah, did he do a Death Valley Driver and then the final shot?
Final shot, yeah. I did think before, as he was doing it, before he reversed it, I thought, if Pete hits this is over. So, and that's the beauty of it sometimes. They can suspend your disbelief of not just the fact of, scripted and choreographed stuff, but even the disbelief in yourself of like, nah, it's not going to do it. Well, maybe!
It toys with you.
Yeah, it was a great match, and
really
again, Cole and Pete representing NXT were kind of proving, we belong here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can
great
do
match.
This shit.
Really enjoyed it.
Next was the WWE Championship between The Fiend.
The WWE Universal Championship.
Oh, sorry, I get confused.
It's a new blue championship.
Yeah, that's
it's not. To be honest, I had a feeling they were just going to change it to blue instead of red.
Yeah.
But if I'm honest, I prefer blue to red.
In my defence, the belt's changed shows so many times. It's hard to keep up there. But
so
the Universal Championship.
Yes.
Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan. It went the way I expected it, but slightly better.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's the main point.
I would say it's Bray's best match since him versus Finn.
Yeah, because with Seth it was either Seth got destroyed, or Bray was just getting hit with weapons and kept getting back up. And we all know how. Even at Crown Jewel, even though it was slightly different. Well, I said with their match at Crown Jewel, it was exactly the same as Hell in a Cell. It was just without the cell.
Yeah.
And a different winner. But yeah, this was good. They still have a stupid red light.
Yeah, again, we've said this is the third, fourth time now. It's just like, get rid of the red light.
Yeah,
it's like you had the brand new blue championship. I couldn't even fucking tell because of the light.
Well, yeah, there was a few bits I liked with the whole... I noticed there was some kind of weird substance coming out of Bray's mouth, and when the lights did finally come, it turned out he had like a kind of ink blot thing on his tongue, which was... Because at first I thought it might be blood.
I think, maybe it's the fact that he blackened his tongue, because obviously the rest of his mouth must be black within there, so he's just trying to not make it as prominent.
Make it more sick and twisted.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. Because Brian from the get-go just ran straight at him.
He went for it, yeah. He got a reasonable amount of offense in as well, especially on the outside a couple of times as well. Bray did take quite a few hits, and again, there was a couple of times I thought, are they actually going to go for this? Are they actually going to make... Because, don't get me wrong, I don't want Bray to lose the championship. He should be holding that to Mania minimum. Yeah. You know what I mean? But if it ever went on Bryan's shoulders, it's not the kind of wrestler you sit there going, well, I don't want him to have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Bryan's the kind of person that it doesn't matter whether he's face or heel, whatever he's doing, we love him so much. It's just like, well, have it. I don't care.
It was a complicated one to call because, let's say, apart from that first offense with Daniel, at the start, it was all Bray Wyatt. Yeah. Then, I think Bryan reversed something and Bray went flipping over the stairs. So Bryan put a bit more of his offense in. And then it was kind of back and forth for a while until Bryan came in with the yes kicks.
Yeah.
And after
he kept popping up, didn't he?
Yeah. And then after like the third or fourth time where Bryan just like, I'm not giving up. When Bray went to get up, he stumbled. And, you know, again, it's that, all right, okay, keep going, you got him on the ropes, go for it. And then I think he embraced the yes movement thing.
Yeah, he went,
which went over really well.
Yeah. I didn't think he'd go for it. I thought he'd get cut off or something like that, but no, they went for the full-on yes chance.
What shocked me more than anything else was because of like Bray just kept kicking out and one against Seth. It took a 2 count. Now, if he'd gone to a full 3, don't get me wrong, it would have been an amazing shot. Bryan's shout, wow! But I think we'd be sitting here complaining about how can Bray lose to that and yet survive everything?
Yeah, because I would say the knee's as protected as the stomp, and the stomp was hit 7 or 8 times both matches. So it's just like, I'm glad he did kick out of it.
Yeah, it was booked the right way because as soon as he hit the knee and he kicked out, he had that amazing shot of Bryan like, what the hell am I going to do? And then Bray just like almost raising from
rises up behind him.
I'm like, I'm still alive.
That was a cool image.
It was the fight out of the mandible claw. Bryan managed to. Again, it looked like it was going to be his comeback.
Yeah, he put him in an armbar over the rope, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, and then he went for the knee again, and in midair, Bray caught him in the mandible claw, which was awesome because he nailed it.
Yeah,
just like
straight in.
And then that was what ended it.
Passed him out, and he pinned him 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so not the greatest wrestling match I've ever seen, but. Yeah, exactly the way I expected it to go, with a bit more. Perfect. The way it was meant to go.
Yeah, perfect story told.
Yeah, great story told. It was the way the story should have been told.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so it looks like there was a promo with like Miz trying to fire Bryan up, and Bryan telling him to piss off.
Yeah, he basically get out my face.
Yeah, so I
do love the fact that Miz is always in the background and Bryan, because he was the one that brought him up.
Yeah,
and I love that he's always there in the peripheral. That's just a really good story. Just like.
They're always going to have
connection. There's a connection. Yeah, there's always a connection.
I'm kind of hoping more that this brings Miz into the title picture, and less. I don't really want them to revisit the Bryan-Miz rivalry again.
No, not yet. No.
Because it's kind of been done to death in recent years.
Yeah,
if you're going to do it again, leave it at least 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
If they're still going to be there, you know. But next was what I'm probably going to go for my match of the night was the men's 5 and 5 and 5.
This was again good, solid, fun.
Saying that, I do have my biggest complaint of the night about this, which.
So obviously, with we had Reigns captaining for SmackDown, Rollins captaining for Raw, and then Ciampa captaining for NXT.
But we didn't know the team.
No, we didn't. And the team, as far as I can remember, for NXT, because obviously it got announced just as they came out. Basically, it was Ciampa, Priest, Riddle. Keith Lee. And
Volta. Which shocked me. But
I liked that.
But I liked it, and I think the crowd loved it because they were all over him. And I think this is where the complaint comes in, because I don't think the WWE executives or them backstage were expecting that response.
Yeah.
and even though the match started off great, Volta ended up being the first to be eliminated.
Yeah,
which the crowd did not like.
No,
and
they were shouting bullshit and everything. And I do agree with you. He shouldn't necessarily have been the first to be kicked out. However, the only thing I will say is that he got a decent showing beforehand because he went back and forth with Drew and especially Braun.
Yeah, he went against the Giants.
Yeah, he had some real good showings there. And coming away from those three, he looked like the dominant one.
Yeah.
And I loved that. So although he wasn't there as long as we would have wanted him to, he still did what he needed to do in that small amount of time. They
did this thing, even with Raw and SmackDown, they did the selling of, because they're now different brands and they need to stick as different brands, the whole, look at this cat squaring up to this cat on different shows. Because, Volta's never stood up against Braun. And on one side, I think at one point it was Priest and Drew. He this is interesting. Mm-hmm. Even even though they've wrestled with each other or against each other in recent times, even the fact of Drew and Braun back in the same ring face to face, because they're both the big guys, it's you are selling these characters and these standoffs great.
They are.
But yeah, and also the thing is with Volta going, as much as it sucked, maybe bar the likes of Shorty G and all that, you've got such a stacked deck of amazing stars there. Someone's got to go first.
Yeah.
And
it is what it is.
Yeah. But so it's a minor complaint, but it's a complaint nonetheless.
Kevin Owens went reasonably early, but I like the fact that he had that choice when he was doing the frog splash to hit the NXT guy or the the SmackDown guy, and he went for the SmackDown guy, and then not long after that, Ciampa DDT'd him and pinned him took him out of it, considering he was in War Games with him the night before, and he did the clapping thing.
That was great. That's Ciampa's character. His character is more all is fair in love and war.
Yeah. And I liked that. Yeah. It makes sense for all the characters. It was fine.
I think, again, this is one of those matches where everybody had their spot. Like, Orton went RKO crazy when he got eliminated. That was it. Riddle eliminated him.
Yeah,
and Riddle was proud of it. Yeah. And then out of nowhere, all of a sudden he up here, which cost Riddle his elimination.
Corbin pinned him, unfortunately. But he snuck in for a pin. It's not like he did anything to warrant the pin. It was the RKO that did him in.
Because that was it. Corbin was being a dick because he was... Ali tagged himself in. Ali's on a roll. Corbin, getting in Ali's face, cost Ali his
you got more
spot.
Yeah, and then controversy with Reigns and Corbin and that, and just...
Well, to the crowd's pleasure, Roman was like, fuck this, and a Superman punch and speared Corbin and let him get eliminated, which everyone was like, thank you, you've been a dick. So, the shocker really was the fact that the last three...
The thing with Braun as well, he went round the outside twice.
He wiped it all out.
And then he got counted out because he couldn't get back in. He got hit with a claymore on the outside, didn't he?
As colliding with Keith Lee.
Yeah, he collided with Keith Lee. That was awesome.
Yeah.
When Keith Lee got in the ring as well, it was straight away the people were so hyped.
Oh,
just there, it was all over.
Yeah.
Love him. Braun got eliminated then, which was kind of a meh way to get rid of him, but I was like, okay, that's
who's
fine.
Pin him?
Yeah, who's going to pin him?
No one's going to submit him.
Keith Lee maybe,
but Riddle maybe, but
he was gone by. I think maybe Riddle went before that. I can't really remember.
I can't remember.
But it was what it was. But when you got down to it, it was Seth and Drew, and Roman Reigns was by himself, I think, and then it was Ciampa and Keith Lee.
Yeah, Drew and Ciampa soon went.
Drew and Ciampa were gone, so it was down to the final three. Keith Lee was your last one in NXT, which was amazing because obviously I'd assume it would be Ciampa.
Yeah.
But they've really put enough stock in Keith Lee to know that he could carry the rest of this battle.
It was interesting because the fact that you had Seth and Roman as the last two for their teams and the Shield thing. The weird thing is, again, it's not a complaint as such, but more kind of you built it up like it was going this way and it didn't, is that it was almost teasing, even with the promos leading up to the match and backstage segments, that either Kevin or Seth was going to betray because Triple H has approached them at separate times
talked about it with each
to come back to
other.
NXT.
Yeah.
And it seemed they were just all raw through the night. And Kevin, again, he had a good showing, but he wasn't in the match long enough to do anything.
Yeah.
What's just an observation is, on the good side, is that a lot of people were saying, oh God, I bet Triple H is going to be the fifth member of Team NXT.
I'm so glad he wasn't.
But he did the right decision, he put his ego aside, and I think he's smart enough to go, I don't belong here because the whole point of NXT is about the future, not the past.
Yeah.
But saying that, I was surprised and somewhat disappointed that there was no Triple H appearance at all, because the fact that he's been a huge part of these NXT invasions and stuff, to not even be at Survivor Series at all.
I would have liked. The only thing I would have needed from him is when the 5 were announced for NXT as they came out, Triple H comes out with them and just points at the ring, they charge down and he buggers off. That's all you need. Just him to go, get them, boys.
Yeah, or even have him ringside, and at one point maybe he could get involved, and then one of Team Raw, Team SmackDown just wipe him out. Because I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks. I'm really warming to the idea of the possibility of Kevin Owens versus Triple H at WrestleMania. Kevin could have been that guy, he could have gotten Kevin's face, like, make your decision, and Kevin could have laid him out with a stunner, which would have laid down the groundwork of, like, not only is Kevin chose Raw, but, this could build up to him versus Triple H, if that's the idea they're going with. But, unfortunately, I don't remember a lot of what David Priest did. Not saying he didn't do anything.
He did some bits and bobs.
Yeah.
He had a good show in some certain bits, but again, nothing stands out.
Yeah. It really got going. Well, it was going. The momentum was building.
It was one of those things that just kept going.
And then when it came to Roman and Keith Lee, it was like we're at boiling
Well, I was just saying, Keith Lee pinned Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
He took out Seth Rollins, which because Seth was getting frustrated, acting a little bit heelish in places and that. And then, just Keith Lee managed to take him out, and I was surprised because I went for Raw winning because I thought Vince is going to want Seth to be cool, so he's going to have him win. But no, Keith Lee took him out, and it was Reigns, Keith Lee, and again they had a good battle against each other.
Well, the bomb, I can't remember what he calls it now, the powerbomb Keith Lee.
That was amazing.
Not only did he nail it to the point that Roman nearly...
He bounced out,
when he went through the mat and then bounced out the arena, I genuinely thought it might be it, and then at the last second Roman kicks out. He got Superman punch twice.
I think it was 2 Superman punches and another spear, and then that was a good night.
I think Keith go for one more thing, and then Roman ducked it, and then because Keith got back in control. And I think he went for was it like a moonsault or something for the top rope? Roman rolled out the way.
Yeah,
a spear.
I think so.
Which a lot of fans might be looking at it like, oh, for fuck's sake, Roman again, surely. But
I was fine with it.
I was okay with it.
I was fine with it. The story was told well. And it's not... Keith Lee didn't look bad at the end of that.
No.
He looked strong.
Because... so I might be saying I'm okay with it because I went for Team SmackDown for that predictions thing. But I was already aware that I know they're pushing Roman. And I'm okay with them pushing Roman that way. I'm worried that they're going to throw him in the Royal Rumble and stuff. Yeah. But, he's come back from the whole cancer thing. And it would have been so eye-rolling to throw him straight back in the title picture. But... I think for almost a year now, he's just done his thing. And I think I said...
Building back to a point.
Yeah, I think I said a couple of months ago when we were talking about who's going to challenge for the bout next. I think even said, you know what? I'm comfortable being back in the title picture now.
It's
but they're doing it well. They're slowly doing it. And it got Keith Lee over... Even without a victory, so well.
Yeah. Oh, and also they did the fist bump at the end as well. And that was good. I liked that.
So as far
showed ultimate respect.
As far as characters getting over and wrestlers getting over, everybody won in that match.
Yeah.
But as far as victories, Team SmackDown won.
Yeah. That was good. So I really enjoyed it.
The following was what might be the close second to match of the night, which was the WWE Championship.
Ray versus Brock.
No, Hosbar.
And I wouldn't say this was a great wrestling match, but this was definitely the best story told.
Yeah, the excitement.
It was. They generally had you believing that Ray was going to do this, and I the way they were building beforehand with his promo before he came out and everything, I thought to myself, it's not going to happen, is it? Brock's going to retain again, and I predicted for Ray, and I shouldn't have because I shouldn't fucking bet against Ray. I shouldn't do it, but I did.
Bet against Brock.
Bet against Brock. Sorry, but fuck, it was good. It was like Brock was selling really well. He got the pipe up, didn't he? And he was more or less dominating on Ray mostly. And then Dominic came out with the towel, which makes no sense because it's Noah's bar.
Yeah, I don't know if it counts or not.
So Brock threw the towel out, and then Ray came in with a Lobo cock shot.
Dominic did
the same. Then they did a double 619 together. 2 separate suplexes, splashes together, and they went for a cover together, and Brock kicked out, which I was like, but it was so close.
Yeah,
it was like a 2.9. It was so close.
That's it. It's the whole. As soon as Brock got control of Ray, it was almost this kind of. No, some people might have been off a fuck's sake side, but the basic side of here we go.
Yeah.
This is where Ray gets killed by Brock.
Massive.
So the German suplex on the pipe where Ray landed his tailbone on his pipe was like, ooh, because I don't think that was planned, and you're there going, I hope that's not a real pipe because you'd be fucked right now. There was is Cain Velasquez thing there?
Is that going to happen?
Because no one's barred. Anything can happen. But Brock, I'll give credit where it's due, especially at his Survivor Series match. Brock always makes it, if he's going to win, he will still make it look like he was that close to losing. He will put the person over so well.
It was literally by pure luck, I think, that he managed to take it, because obviously Dominic went for another splash. He grabbed him and suplexed him out of the way, and then Ray went for the same off the other rope, got caught for the F5 and pinned, and Brock is still your champ. But, like say, skin in the teeth kind of situation. It's just by pure luck, he had to scout Ray as he went for it, caught him, and took it. Yeah,
the problem with, let's face it, non-pay-per-view matches, Raw and SmackDown can put on some great wrestling matches or, passable wrestling matches. This isn't a knock. But as far as the structure goes, spots are there to get the rise out of the crowd. So a normal match would be like, spot, there's the rise, they made the crowd go, they're invested, then it goes down a bit, there's the next spot, they're back into it. Soon as the first Lobo was hit, it was just rise. Rise. So the crowd were just behind it. Brock was
the crowd was spare, weren't they?
Heyman was losing his shit. The fact that you saw Dominic, let's face it,
even one of the commentators was bouncing up and down and excited.
Let's face it, Dominic basically getting his hands dirty for the first time with a thing. It was like, he did the 619 with his dad and a splash, and having both of them on it of this is double weight, this is over, but doing the smart thing of Brock's character of no, he's still the beast, he can still kick out with two people on top of him. Yeah. And then it still looked like possibly Dominic and Ray could do it, but Brock gets up, pissed off, pretty much throws Dominic off the top rope, catches Ray in the F5, and that's it. And that ain't a complaint, because again, it was almost similar to Universal Championship match. The story was told so well that I was like, I'm not even mad because I'm so entertained by it.
Invested in how well they did it.
It was like, that was awesome.
Considering these are two people that have been there for quite a while, as no one knew, it's no one that we're necessarily really behind, because no one's necessarily really behind Brock, he's just Brock. And none of us are really going, Ray is my absolute favourite, unlike my wife, of course.
Right, yeah.
But, you know what I mean? He's the veteran, he's just there.
Yeah.
And we got so invested in this match.
Yeah, because it was the belief.
Predictions aside, even if the predictions weren't there, I'd have still been going nuts, going, holy shit, they might do this.
But it's the belief of, is this his last run?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can do that. Why wouldn't they do that? But, they didn't with this place. But, for non-wrestling fans that just go well, winners or losers, it don't fucking matter, does it? Because, it's good. So, yes, but not only is it about the journey of those promos and build-up, but... regardless of who wins or who loses, when that final bell goes, I want to be going, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what it did. Brock and Ray, it was only about, 5-minute match?
Yeah, maybe
a bit longer?
Yeah, 6.
But it did what it did. It delivered.
It delivered, yeah, absolutely.
So, there you go.
Really enjoyed it.
Everything was going so well.
Yeah, then we're on to the main event. If you actually listen back to this, we've been really quite positive, which is rare because at the moment that doesn't really happen.
No, it
but then we come crashing back down, unfortunately, with the main event. It was the triple threat for the women. It was Becky on Raw, Bayley on SmackDown, Shayna Baszler for NXT, and it was just boring.
Yeah, I think
it was too choreographed, it was too rehearsed, and there was never any moment with a big spot or a big moment or a big build. It was just there.
I don't think it was too rehearsed or choreographed at all. I just don't think they knew what to do, because I think that's maybe it might be being a bit too harsh there, but because there was a lot of, even looking at Facebook now, there was a lot of fans going, why the hell is this the main event? Our excuses were, we think Ronda Rousey's returning.
Yeah, as soon as they were putting this as the main event, I was like, it's going to be Ronda. Yeah, she's going to screw Becky out of it or something to that effect.
It wasn't. So
never happened. No.
But even before we found out Ronda wasn't there, we were saying, or they're thinking, they're pushing the women as important as the men.
Well, no,
the
but
women Mania.
the Ronda thing aside, it's not like the match doesn't deserve to be in this spot. It's warranted to be in this spot as much as any of the other championship matches. So that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I have no qualms about it being the main event. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the match wasn't up to par.
Yeah, I think as well, because obviously the women's championships are now held as in such high regard as the NXT WWE Universal Championship.
Rightfully so.
Yes, because those three championships, because Cole, Lesnar and Fiend weren't in a triple threat, they all had their three separate title defences. It's kind of like, well, they've been three separate matches. We're putting the three other most important championships in a match together. Yeah, it should be the main event. I can see that logic. But unfortunately, I think the crowd were just spent.
Yeah,
there was not enough investment in the story, because all the story was like, some will go to NXT to attack Shayna, and then some will go to Raw to attack Becky, and there was a small promo package, or the face off between Becky and Shayna.
That was
about it. And then Becky did a promo early in the night, just pretty much saying,
it was good
I'm
promo.
still the man.
Yeah, it was generic, but it was a good promo.
Yeah, it was, I'm still the man, and even though she didn't say it, it was almost kind of saying, like, raw shit out at the minute, I'm going to represent right now. But, for me, I'm going to stand up a lot for Shayna here, because I think Shayna just felt a little bit like, I don't know what to do with these two women, because I don't think they know what to do with me, let alone each other right now.
They did. I mean, she did the best she could, but I just don't know what it was. They weren't bouncing off each other very well. And it's not it's acceptable for Shayna because she's never wrestled with these guys before, but it's not really acceptable for Bayley and Becky.
No.
They've wrestled each other a million times.
Yeah, some moves were sloppy and not executed well.
No.
Some weren't sold correctly.
No.
Bayley's character confused
It felt half-assed sometimes. I felt like sometimes they weren't going... I'm not saying go strong style, because that's not who these girls are.
Yeah.
But I just felt that there wasn't enough ferocity with their hits and everything, and it just...
Yeah.
It's like they were doing a TV match. You know what I mean? Like they're just holding it back a little bit.
But Bayley seemed to me like she didn't know if to be the heel that like begs, like like Ric Flair used to do, and like, oh please don't tell me. It's like she didn't know if to be that or a similar character to Becky. I think she just didn't know what to do.
No, she didn't.
To me, Becky just didn't have a good performance all round that night.
No, not really. There was nothing that really stood out. I mean, she got the disarmer in a couple of times.
Yeah,
but
when it comes down, if to summarise, I just don't think for that night at least, maybe in the future that they can fix it, but for this night at least, none of the women had chemistry with each other, and it came across to the fans in the arena and on the TV, and it just, unfortunately, it was the worst match of the night, and it might have been passable later on, but when it's the main event, it really leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
If you'd have switched that out with Fiend Brian, or switched it out with Ray Brock, or something like that, or even switched it out with the men's 5-on-5, or even the women's 5-on-5, to be honest, any of those on the main event would have been absolutely fine. It's just this one just...
Well, a lot of fans were saying, like, it should have been Brock Ray. I'm thinking, right, are you saying that just in hindsight because how well it was? Because for a lot of months, people would be going, "Oh, fucking Brock headlining again," typical. But
I'd have gone for the Fiend Brian before watching the match. I thought that would be the one for me.
Yeah, if you're going to bring the Yes movement back, which they kind of did and kind of didn't, but we've discussed that. Also, I think I said this during the match. They kind of dug themselves in the corner of the points, because at this point NXT was either going to at best draw with SmackDown. Raw had already lost, so even if Becky won, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
And if SmackDown won, they just would have drawn with NXT. So there was no... If it was like all tied, like 2 apiece or 3 apiece, whatever it was, so this meant something, maybe there would have been more investment. But there was just nothing there. And then...
I think you could forgive that if the match was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
Also, no Ronda, but that's not a complaint, because even I was saying if she's going to come back, I think they should save it for the Rumble. And then, to me, the Becky attacking Shayna thing...
Yeah, well, let's track back a little bit. Shayna took the victory, that's 4-2-1. So NXT win the night, which is a great thing.
Yeah.
Because I generally didn't see that happening, and it did, and I'm happy. But as you said, she got attacked by Becky after.
It's hard to call for what reason, because it's like, okay, it makes sense for Becky's character as the man, but it still seems very heelish.
I think it was just a statement to go, you might have won this one, but I'm still the man around here.
I think it was also
said, I'm still on top.
I think it was also a statement to say, you beat Bayley.
Yeah, you beat Bayley, you didn't beat me, yeah. Because she was out over the table, wasn't she?
So it just... Yeah, unfortunately left a bad taste for the end of the show.
Yeah, considering how great the rest of the show was, even with the little niggling parts we had, overall this show was a really good, solid one, and it's just a shame that this was the way it ended.
Yeah.
I think even if this match was bad as it was, but Ronda came back, I think you could have lifted it a little bit there. It wouldn't necessarily save the match, but I would have gone home going, oh, at least the very end of the show was good.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It just kind of ended with Becky on top.
I think all three of the women that are involved will, either after the match or now or whatever, some will be sitting there going, yeah, I dropped the ball. Others will be like, others being, in my opinion, Shayna. I think Shayna will be sitting there going, no, I did the best of what I could do. I think I'm okay. And I do feel sorry for them, but I think Becky and Bayley would be sitting there right now going, I've really dropped the ball with this. Because this is the first time in a while I think the fans will agree with Vince. It came from my Facebook today that Vince was not happy with that main event at Survivor Series. And I think most of the fans are with him on that.
Got to agree with him.
But there'll be some fucking feminist over there going, well, he's just saying that because there's women. He's never been supported by women. No, we'll call it as it is. They dropped the ball.
Yeah, as I said previously a few minutes ago, it's not about the fact that the women were in the main event. That's fine. That's normal. That's as it should be. Yeah. It's just the match was not good enough.
Well, another thing to agree with Vince, and just a rarity, twice agreeing with him.
It's just getting what's going on?
Yeah.
Is he paying us?
Please do. He's very high on Keith Lee, and it was his idea to have Keith Lee in last. And again, as a fan, and not speaking for all the fans, but I think they'll be on my side here. We're all over that.
Yeah,
because Keith Lee,
man. Bask in the glory.
Yeah. So overall, I think I'll still go. At the time I was thinking this might be a 9, but with the main event and the other niggling bits, I'm going to give it 8.5.
Right. Yeah, because going through this whole pay-per-view, as I was going through and thinking about it as we were watching it, I was thinking to myself, if this keeps up, I am getting very close to giving this a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
I said, if the last couple of matches deliver so fucking perfectly, I could have given it a 10 out of 10 because it was that really enjoyable.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. There's a couple of missteps here and there, like Volta going out first and everything. There was a couple of bits and bobs here and there, but they're like niggling things.
Yeah.
The main problem here was the main event, and it's because of that. I was gonna go 8, but I'll go with you. I think 8.5 is acceptable, which is actually one of the highest points we've given it out of 10. Normally we're at like 6s and 7s, and the last few pay-per-views been 5s at the max, I think.
Yeah.
So this is the first time in a while where we've been in the 8 area. So it was a really good, strong pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that it just had that misstep at the end and it took it down a couple of points.
What I always look for in a pay-per-view is the shock factors of the night, we'll call them the OMG spots, like someone jumping off a cage or whatnot, the build-up of tension, the wrestling ability, and the way the story is told. And 3 out of the 5 of those boxes were ticked for me. So, because, I suppose there were a couple of shocks in there, like I say, Riddle eliminating Orton. But that's a shock as in, oh wow, not as in, oh my god, Sting's just walked out.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. Yeah. So as a whole, I was really happy with this pay-per-view.
Really, so, absolutely, really enjoyed it. I'm hoping we get more with this. I hope this isn't a case of it was good because NXT were involved as well. I guarantee that's gave it a boost because of how behind we are with certain characters. But
90% of people brought that A game.
I'm definitely. I'm just praying that this is what we're going to be getting going forward.
Yeah. So what you gave it again?
I'll give it 8.5.
8.5. Right. Yeah. So but I think just as a side idea here is, I very much doubt anyone that's in control of WWE or could do this idea will push it through. But we're about to say next one will be TLC. In my opinion, as love wrestling, and we always, I will always go with I can't get enough of it, but we always say we don't have enough time in our days and lives to watch it all. But in my opinion, just to maybe give it TLC more flavour and more views, if you advertise TLC as this is going to be the last show of the year until everyone has a break, because everybody on that roster, writers and everyone, even Vince himself, deserves a break. If they said TLC, end of the show, that's it. We've got 2-3 weeks off, whatever it is, for Christmas and New Year, to heal, spend time with our families, recharge our batteries, and then the very first Monday of the new year is the first Raw and we're back. I think you get a lot more pay-per-view buys because everyone's like, this is the last show of the year.
Yeah.
And then you'll get a lot more viewers for Raw.
Because you've got plenty of time to build up and think, well, what's going to happen?
Yeah. And considering the rumour is, I think, that they've had to rethink the Christmas Raw because I think they hardly sold 1,000 tickets for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's
like stupid idea. Well,
you can't
pre-tape it.
Don't do this whole, well, we need the more money, we need to do another show. Like, well, by the looks of it, hardly anyone's going to turn up anyway. So let everyone chill, see their families, and then if people want to work over Christmas, not the wrestlers, but executive producers, all that stuff, that's when you can not only really think about stories and characters, but that's when you can really think about WrestleMania. Because if you did that...
Time off to sit and think about it.
If every Christmas you had 2 or 3 weeks off to properly think through and plan out WrestleMania, I guarantee WrestleMania will knock it out of the park every year.
Yeah.
Which it should, because it's the biggest show of the year. So, that's just my opinion. I don't know, other people might go...
I tend to agree with you.
Yeah, everyone deserves time off.
Yeah, absolutely.
They work 340 days a year, whatever it is, and spend time away from their family. I think you can give them a break every now and then.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
we'll be back in 3 weeks, hopefully along with Jess as well, to do TLC, which will be the last one for the year.
Yes.
So find us on all our social media and everything. Links are all in the description. And I guess we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.